Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're talking about a very important topic when it comes to fits, and that is poor lighting. If you own one of these, you know that lighting and AC are probably some of the worst things about the car, other than like road noise. But the lights are not very good. The factory halogen bulbs kind of suck. Aftermarket LEDs tend to not do very well in halogen housings. Same with aftermarket HIDs, and there's not really a good proper solution unless you're willing to spend the time and or money to do a proper projector retrofit. Now those can be not only costly, and good kits done by proper people are about $1,000, but they're also pretty time intensive if you're looking to do it yourself. A nice kit to do it yourself could be upwards of $400 or $500. So it's still pretty costly, especially if you buy a separate head of headlights, which is an additional $300 for aftermarket depot units. It gets up there. So I've got a solution which I think is going to work really well. Up on the bench here, I have got the H4 projector kit from our friends over at Roadmanners. So these are bolt-in, sort of bolt-in, you'll see in a little bit, projector bulbs. So the projector is built into an H4 format that just plugs into your headlight. Pretty cool, new, innovative thing that I haven't seen too many people offer. And I think it's going to be really good for fits because it solves the lighting issue without having to spend a bunch of time and or money. So this is what I've had on the fit since I have had it. It's a little weird torpedo looking LED. It looks like it's got 4 diodes, 2 on each side. They suck. They're aftermarket. I'm gonna assume just cheapies. They say made in China on the plug. They came with the car. I hate driving this car at night because I can't see a damn thing and I feel like I'm blinding everybody. They don't disperse well. The glare shield inside of the headlight, I don't know if the glare on the actual, you can see it right there. It doesn't do a good job when you have something like an LED or an HID and it disperses light everywhere. So let me turn the lights off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so everything's gonna be very dark because the lights are off, but hopefully you can hear and see well enough. So this is the aftermarket LED. You can see there, it's not going to show up in camera, but the whole center of it has the reflector shield and it doesn't look very good. If you look at the wall, the light doesn't have a nice cutoff to it. It's dispersed all over the place. The lighting is very high, so where the car is, it really should be lighting up no higher than the top of the toolbox. And you can see that the light is all over the place to the side and above, but it doesn't really illuminate the road, what is below, very well. Now we've got both headlights on. This here is the LED with the factory glare shield. This here is the LED projector bulb, and what you'll see is that it's got a nice cutoff line. In a minute here, I'm gonna unplug this driver's side headlight so you can see it on its own, but it's got a nice cutoff line and it illuminates the road, this area down here, without blinding everything up top. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So you'll see how this is all dark, which would be the road ahead of you, and this is properly illuminated. Now I'm going to turn this one off and keep that one on so you can see the comparison a little bit better. And mind you, these headlights are not, it's not an alignment thing. They've been aligned before and they're at the exact alignment that they were prior when they were both the same bulb. All right, so now we've got just the driver, or the passenger side one, which is the projector bulb. And you can really tell how there's a really nice crisp cutoff right there. And you can see the lower part to the higher part. You always want the higher part on your passenger side so that you're not blinding oncoming traffic. And it doesn't disperse a whole ton of light all over the place. It's pretty well focused lighting. So I know this is not the most scientific and the greatest example of it. I will be doing nighttime driving and measurements for you too. I just want to showcase what we're putting on before we continue the process and show you how these are installed. All right, so now that you know what we're doing, how it works, what it does, let's get into installing these. First thing you're gonna need to do, remove your front bumper. Mine's already missing. It's pretty simple to do. You've got 4 clips up top. You have to pop your hood to do it. You have got 2 screws on either side that hold to this bracket on the fender, and then you've got a couple of clips and screws at the bottom that hold it to the splash guards and all that. Then you can just undo the plastic tabs. Don't be afraid to pull on it. Don't, like, you know, be the Hulk and rip your bumper in half, but there are a bunch of little clips that hold it here, and you do have to gently pry on the bumper. They're plastic, they will flex, it's not a problem, so that you can remove the bumper, get that out of the way, and then we can get to the headlights. With your bumper safely stored aside, we can get to pulling the actual headlight assemblies. And now these lights will work, as far as I know, pretty much all H4 vehicles, so it's not a fit specific thing. They are marketed as a fit item, and they do fit fits, so, you know. But I think they might work on older gen Hondas also. I'm tempted to try them on some of these because it'd be an amazing lighting upgrade if it works on those as well. But we're doing fit stuff today. So on the first generation cars, for these particular bulbs, you do have to remove the glare shield for the halogen bulb, which is a little bit more involved than it is on the second gen cars. If you have a GE, I know GE content is coming. If you have a GE, at least the facelift models, they have the glare shield has like a hole in it that these can just, you know, the light beam can go through. I believe the pre-facelift models do have to have the glare shield modified, but I will confirm that with the manufacturer and put it somewhere in the here area. So we got to pop these off, get to the back of them, and work towards getting that shield out of there. Removing the headlights is pretty easy. It's just a bunch of 10 mil screws. You've got one right down here. You have got one right down here. You have got one right in there, and then you've got another one right up top. Once you do that, your headlight will be loose like mine is, and then you pop it out of here. Careful, because you do still have a bunch of wiring attached, and you're just going to go through and undo all of the electrical connectors and pop it out of the car. Once you've got your headlight removed from the car, you do want some sort of soft surface so you're not scratching up your lens to work on. I've got a little like moving blanket thing here. It's actually a protective cover for a toolbox that I don't own anymore, so it's just become a protective thing for whatever else. But we are going to flip this over and remove the bulb real quick. So mine does not have the shield, and because of that, and because I track my car, and tracking your car makes stuff go everywhere, I've got all sorts of crap inside of the headlight. So I'm going to remove that bulb and see how much of it I can shake out. Look at the amount of crud that was inside of this headlight. That's all the stuff that gets picked up by your tire and just flung everywhere when you're doing track days. Your tires are super sticky and they're picking up everything. So I'm gonna shake this because it's supposed to be a protective cover, and now I've unprotected it by putting a bunch of crap there. I'm gonna shake all that stuff off, throw it away. We'll get to working on this headlight. All right, so you've got your headlight. You've got your crappy old bulb out. That gets tossed in garbage. But you still have the little spring clip and screw in there. We're going to remove those to make this easier to work on. So our next step here is going to be removing the shield. You look in there, there's a shield in the way. We can't get anything through. So there is a little screw in here that you can get at with a screwdriver. And now the trick that I'm going to be using, if you have a magnetic screwdriver, use that. If you don't, you can pick up a really small magnet. Where did I put mine? Right here. You can pick up a really small magnet like this for just a couple of bucks. And these things are super handy to have around when you're working on cars. And you can put this magnet up next to the screw and make sure that the screw doesn't go flying or end up as debris inside of your headlight, and pop that out, and that will free up the glare shield so we can work on that. All right, once you've got that little screw out of the way, that shield should be loose. You can use your finger or a screwdriver or anything else to kind of move it side to side and break it loose. And then after that, use a set of pliers just to break it free from where it's at. It has to kind of like move out of its slot until it's free and bouncing around inside the headlight. All right, you'll see I've freed the shield. What I'm going to do is just kind of set it off to the side here like that. And now I've got a place to grab onto. This is where things get interesting, kind of annoying, and very time consuming. Well, it took me like 10-15 minutes. But it's not just a straight bulb swap, right? You have to cut that thing apart because it's too big to fit through the hole. So I used a combination of tin snips, locking vice grips, and wherever my air saw went, I used an air saw to make little cuts throughout the circle so that I could get the tin snips in there, cut little bits out, and then when I just had that round base of the shield, I was able to squeeze it in half and snake it through. So this is what it looked like afterwards. You'll see I made a bunch of little slits and cut them up, and then I was able to, from the back side, grab some pliers, squeeze it in half, and make it small enough to where it comes out of the hole. Now, you do need to be careful while doing this because you can scratch the inside of your headlight. So what I did, and it's gonna be damn near impossible to film, is I worked with the headlight upside down. So I'm working with the headlight like this. Anything falls out of the headlight straight into the ground, it doesn't go in, and you can scratch the inside of the plastic, but also that reflective inner bowl of the headlight is easily scratched when you're working near it. So you do need to be careful, you do need to take your time, and whatever tools that you can use, if you've got an air saw, I still don't know where mine went, that has a longer blade, use that. Just make sure it's a good metal blade and that you're not cutting into the inner reflective bowl, so like this big silver part on the inside of the light, because then you're gonna see that you were keeping that part of the headlight. All right, so we got the glare shield out of the headlight. You'll see here how I was able to cut it out. I ended up using the tin snips and then a long blade. What I did first was take off this leg, which was where the mounting position was, and then I held it with some locking pliers and used a saw to come in and cut it in half, and then I was able to snake the two pieces out. That worked a lot better than what I did last time, and this is now done. So if you plan on using halogens again with your headlights, it's probably not the best thing to do, but if you don't, and I think that after going to these headlight bulbs, you never will have to, then it doesn't matter. So now we put the new bulbs in, and then we mount them on the car. But before the bulb goes in the housing, we do have to put the retaining clip back in. This does only go in one proper way, so make sure that you have that done up the way it should. You should have the flat area towards the screw, and then the clip towards the little retaining tab, and the legs should be pointing down towards the inside of the housing to keep pressure on the bulb. That's how this is sitting, so I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this down, and then we'll throw that in. Retaining clip is in, and now we get the bulb in place. Now the overall diameter of this bulb is very tight inside of this housing. I did not have to shave mine at all, but it is a little finicky. You want to make sure that you've got all the little tabs, these guys here and this guy there, lined up with how the headlight sits. So this is the top and those are the two bottoms. And you go like that, and you do have to work it in just a little bit. Once you do that, you want to make sure that the wire is in between the two sections of the tab. You're going to have to move the tab around the heatsink because the heatsink is pretty big on this guy. So you heard that just clip in. That was the tab going around the heatsink. I can't even talk properly today. Water words. And then get that snapped in, and that's nice and tight. We flip this over, and we've got a bulb. Pretty cool. Let's wire it up. One more small little detail is that you'll see that there's tiny little screws on each little leg. I believe that those are for really fine-tuning the bulb alignment. These headlights only have one adjustment as far as I can tell, right there. And with the little screws, you can really dial in, I think, both your left, right, and your pitch. So I'm going to put these on the car, see if I can get them ballpark aligned, before putting the bumper on, and then at night we'll see exactly how they look and see if we need to make any further adjustments. But I think that I may need to take the headlights off every time to align the really finite stuff, so that's what I'm going to try to dialing them in now. Man, words are apparently really hard today. All right, let's get this on. So we got both the lights in, bolted to the car, and somewhat aligned. You'll see it's low here, comes up a little bit, and then comes up again. So this is a just for now. Once it's actually dark outside, because if you can see through there, it's still light out. Once it's dark outside, I'll actually be able to aim these properly, but this will give me a pretty good baseline. All right, so here we'll do a quick comparison. I've got the silver fit on the left side and the black fit on the right side. The silver car has the Nightbreaker 200s. The black car has the Roadmanners H4 projector bulbs. So this is just fog lights right here and headlights right there. They do look pretty good, fairly white. If you can tell, it's very visible in person, and I don't know how well you'll be able to tell here. Each bulb goes up and then up, but there is an up down kind of with them. They are level to each other, could probably be adjusted a little bit further. It is pretty clean light, still a little yellow, definitely not as yellow as the OEM bulbs, but again, they do leave a lot to be desired. Now, that is in comparison to that. Those are projector bulbs. You'll see there's a very nice clean line right there, like that. The height is pretty much the same. This side might be a tad bit high here, but look at this difference. It's insane. So now let's turn off the night breakers. And turn on the projectors. Yeah, it's wild. And what I like is that it illuminates the road a lot, so you can actually see what's on in front of you, on top of having a bunch of in front of you. But like, if anything, you got an animal, you got a bad pothole, something, you have a lot of lighting here down low where you often need that you don't with the other bulbs, and it's a very, very nice, clean, crisp line. So let's take these for a drive. We are in the silver Craptastic Daily Fit. These are the Osram Nightbreaker 200 bulbs, which, if you can believe it, are a vast improvement over OEM. So my street here is really dark. As you can see, there's really no street lights, and we will drive around just a little bit so you can see what they look like. Now we're getting to a part that has a little bit of street lighting. But still fairly dark here. These are high beams, low beams, and then with my fog lights on, headlights off, headlights back on. So as you can see, visibility is okay. I know the GoPro is not the best tool at picking up low light stuff, but it does leave a lot to be desired. So in a moment here, you will see what it's like with the Roadmanners projector bulbs. Let me get back on the road here a little bit, give you a little bit more of what these look like. So there, okay. I can see what's in front of me. I can read signs. They're, again, not amazing, but for the, I want to say I paid like 40 bucks for these. They're really not bad. If you're thinking about them, I would recommend. But they are not the end all be all, for sure. So let's try out the other bulbs. Same section of neighborhood. Look at how well lit and how far ahead we can see with these things. Crazy nice. If I can keep it straight on the road. We can see everything here. The camera, I think, is picking it up much nicer too. Mind you, my windshield is still littered in Michigan bugs from coming back, well, going to and coming back from Grid Life Midwest last weekend. I've not gotten a chance to clean the car since. But yeah, I mean, just the difference is vast. It's insane. So let's go cruise some darker roads so you can really see the difference. We are coming up on one of my favorite local twisties. And it's pretty dark back here, so I think this would be a good way to showcase what you can and can't see. So hopefully the guy in front of us, nope, he's gonna turn right, so I'm gonna wait here for a second. So those are low beams, no fog light. Those are high beams. But just the depth of vision, just how far the light can go right now is at least twice what the halogen bulb was doing. Not only that, but there's a beautiful crisp cutoff on it. You have plenty of light off to the side so you can actually read street signs, number plates on houses and things like that. The road right in front of the car is well illuminated, and just all around it's a massive, massive upgrade. And it honestly really looks like a modern car. Like, it really, really does look like a modern car with modern lighting. It's not too much. I thought it might be, you know, I'm used to the days of having aftermarket HIDs and LEDs and everybody being blinded by you. And yeah, you know, we are currently in kind of the arms race of lighting, which nobody enjoys. But I'm used to getting, you know, high beams flashed at me and people being pissed off by upgraded lighting. I haven't had that happen once yet. So I really think that they're not that bad from oncoming traffic because it's got that nice cutoff where it's lower on the driver's side and higher on the passenger side. So overall, I think this is super well worth the money. You're not spending $1,000 plus on doing a proper, we'll call it, an expensive projector retrofit, but you are still getting a very quality set of bulbs that have a tremendously good output. Alright, so here I am obstructed the entire road. On the right side here, right here, we've got Solar Fit with the Osrams. And, you ready for this? Yeah. Crazy difference. Halogen, LED. Halogen, LED. Way better. And that about does it for our video here for the Roadmanners H4 LED projector bulbs. I think that they are very well worth the money. You guys should know by now that I don't really promote businesses or parts I don't believe in, and I do test them before I talk about them. I've had a bunch of companies reach out to me asking to be featured on the channel, and I've turned a bunch of people down just because it's stuff that I don't believe in. Max Speeding Rods, I'm talking about you. But RM makes some awesome stuff. You can get cool stickers. They just started doing windshield banners. Get some squash air fresheners. You can get yourself a set of bulbs. The floor mats in my red car are by them. They've got all sorts of really cool little niche products. He's focusing a lot on the second gen, which I know it's something you guys have been asking me to do. But awesome company, awesome small business. Go give them a shout, go give them a follow. I'll put the details right here. The link for the bulbs will be in the video description. And yeah, just see what they're about. If you got a fit, it's another great little business that you can support. So that about does it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.